Peter Summer believes that most attempted frauds are inside jobs, planned by the discontented.
We have something like 20 years worth of various books, reports and so on, and you can draw certain sorts of conclusions from them. First of all, very little computer crime is committed by people who are pure outsiders. It's nearly always an inside job, just like most forms of white-collar crime. Secondly, people don't always believe this at first, there's very little computer skill involved. What happens is that the middle-range manager, the lowly clerk, who is working at the coalface, spots that the computer system, the way the computer is connected to the rest of the company, is less perfect than it might be, that there is an opportunity there for fraud. And if that person is in a particular frame of mind, resentful about their job prospects, or if they are short of cash, or any of the things that humanly happen to people, they may try and steal money from the computer. That's the standard pattern.
Not surprisingly, organised crime has rapidly latched on to the potential of computers to attempt frauds on a massive scale. A mysterious European underworld figure known only as Kim enlisted the aid of John Felinsky, a North London roofer. In a city pub, the plan was hatched. As a result of their plot, Prudential Beige, an American securities house, only narrowly escaped losing $8 million from their London base. Felinsky introduced Kim to a childhood friend, Angelo Lamberti. Lamberti was a disgruntled clerk in Prudential Beige's Eurobond operation. Lamberti knew the passwords to the computerized transfer system used by his employer. Armed with a home computer, the two friends successfully hacked into the transfer system and routed the funds through 4 countries and into a Swiss bank account set up by Kim and his associates.
In the Prudential case, £5 million worth of Eurobonds, 18 Eurobonds, were at risk when one of their employees, a lowly clerk, decided to become a big-time fraudster. He used no particular skill. In collusion with an outsider who was a roofer of all things, they were able to place a computer in the roofer's home and initiate the fraud. They didn't do it particularly cleverly and they were caught, but it fits absolutely centrally into the pattern of computer crime. It is trivial for everything except the amounts of money that were at risk.
They almost got away with it. Only last-minute moves foiled the robbery. The mysterious Kim and his European associates remain at large. 2 other large frauds have recently been stopped in the nick of time. At Mitsubishi Finance International, £15 million. At Union Bank of Switzerland, £32 million. The City of London police have told us that organised European crime syndicates were involved in both attempts. The frauds that are reported may be just the tip of the iceberg. Barclays believe the best policy is to go public.
There have been attempts to transfer funds from bank accounts out to other accounts in other parts of the world, but fortunately, so far, to the best of our knowledge, they've been thwarted. The largest I can recall is something like £900,000, which is a fairly sizable sum of money, particularly if you're on the losing side.
There is recent evidence to show that British business has lost a figure of no less than £400 million. This is made up not only of direct losses through fraud, as unauthorised access to a company's computers can also be the first step to defrauding and removing of money, but is also made up of peripheral expenses such as cleansing the system and replacing data that has been destroyed or removed.
Everybody in the city agrees that there really is no such thing as a completely safe computer.
The concept of a safe computer is a dream, really, because you're assuming that the computer and the system running in it is completely untouched by human hands throughout its life, and it's probably useless to anybody.
It's a far cry from the computer as educator. But how to avoid throwing out the baby with the technological bathwater? How to preserve the computer's beneficial role while fighting off the intruder?
Perhaps only a small fraction of the population dislikes the human race, but they do, and some of them are highly computer skilled. I think the law's got to step in and provide a backdrop for the scenario that is being played out in today's computerized world. It's real, it's frightening, it's growing, it's vast, and of course, it's international.
It's become a racing certainty that there will be a computer crime bill of some kind in the forthcoming Queen's speech. It can't come too soon for one Suffolk company. The old family firm of Herberts has just had £160,000 worth of computer programmes illicitly copied. Under existing law, the two culprits got away virtually scot-free.
We received a phone call from one of our major supermarket customers to say that the police had been called to one of their stores where one of their employees had passed a copy of our software on to one of our major competitors, GC Avery.
A supermarket assistant hacked into and copied the software which controlled Herbert's scales. This latest computer program had taken 3 years to develop. Herberts felt it had given them the edge over their rivals in a cutthroat market. There's no suggestion that GEC Avery were knowingly involved in the incident.
The police cautioned the software development engineer at our rival company, but that was really for the theft of 2 discs worth £5 each. We have £160,000 invested in this software. Until this event, I had always assumed that was protected by the law, but I now find that it is not.
Incidents like the one at Herbert set Emma Nicholson on her campaign to outlaw computer misuse. She tried and failed with a private members bill in the summer, but she's not giving up.
I was fortunate enough to have a very long interview with the Prime Minister on this, and from there everything started to bowl, because she understood the real concerns I was putting out in front of her. Since then I've been to see all the major cabinet ministers on this and briefed them on it, and I am very hopeful indeed that the government has understood and will now take swift and urgent action.
Specifically, we want access to computer systems to be made illegal if unauthorized. We want destruction of data and programs to be made a criminal offense, and we want the law that would enable us to prosecute against such offenses to be actionable irrespective of where that crime is perpetrated.
Successful hackers argue, first, that they're doing no harm, second, that they're doing good because they're testing out systems and proving weaknesses. I'd love to meet a burglar who broke into my house and argue that at the Old Bailey and considered that that indemnified him against being pushed into jail.
But a new law may not be the hoped-for panacea. It could create as many problems as it solves, not least for the police.
2 years centred to short, stole £100.
Bravo Mike 4, Roger, that's all, received the payment.
It takes 10 years to train a computer professional in this country. How we can expect a police officer to walk into a sophisticated, complex world really is beyond me. There is a 4-week training which less than 100 officers in this country have ever taken. I see no point in having a law on the statute book where one knows in advance that one is not going to have any means of enforcing it. I think it brings the law into disrepute. For a section of the population, what is attractive is that it is outlaw and that there is no real chance, unless they're incredibly unlucky or incredibly stupid, of their ever getting caught. So I think it is not a good idea to introduce unenforceable laws. I don't think they necessarily deter.
There is a jurisdiction difficulty. If a person in the UK hacks into a computer bank in a foreign country and transfers money or causes damage, it's debatable whether the offence occurs in the UK or in the foreign country. And when you start passing information from one country through a gateway into another country and into another country, then the whole problem gets horrendously difficult. We need to be able to extradite serious computer criminals for this type of activity, and that may well require a new international convention to deal with what I term information terrorism.
Society needs the computer show to go sweetly on. Ironically, while the government may outlaw hacking with one hand, it seems certain that the other hand is twisting those very same skills to its own ends.
It seems apparent that industrial espionage and international destabilization between states and between rival powers, whether they're economic or military, is happening now. It will be much easier, in practical and economic terms, to dispense with the services of armies of guerrillas, of chartering boats and planes, of bribing, of changing fingerprints. You don't have to go through that palaver anymore. You can press a few buttons to destabilize a company or even a nation state.
There is also no doubt in my mind that for some considerable time, the world's largest intelligence gathering agencies, National Security Agency, GCHQ, KGBT, have been using hacking type techniques. In fact, it is absolutely past belief that they haven't been using them.
A new computer-skilled generation is in the making. The fear is that new laws may restrict the innocent while failing to arrest the virus, the hack, or the fraud.